The common question among visualizers is how to know if the render has the right contrast and how to adjust that contrast. All right, next trick has to do with yet another uncommon use of the adjustment layer, black and white. You can also paint your glow effect any color. You can choose a cold or warm shade. Hello everybody and welcome to Render.courses. In this video I'm gonna talk about 5 Photoshop tricks to edit your interior renders in a fast and very easy way. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and here we go. So trick number 1 is using levels in Photoshop. Let's take this interior as an example, and I've intentionally left it underexposed and slightly whitened. The common question among visualizers is how to know if the render has the right contrast and how to adjust that contrast. This is where levels come in handy. So I'm gonna go ahead and press Ctrl L and see this kind of levels histogram. Let's find out how to read it. We have these gaps here on the left and on the right, and we have no information here. The curve starts closer to the middle of the chart, and this means that here on the right, the image is underexposed. It's dark. We place this slider at the beginning of the curve, and our image becomes brighter. It becomes lighter. This gap on the left shows that our image is slightly whitened. We don't want our histogram to have a gap like that. So how do we correct this? We place these 2 sliders exactly where the histogram begins and where it ends. In other words, where there's data. So then we click OK, and now we have a well-contrasted image. Now let's compare it against the original. The difference is loud and clear. If you have doubts whether your monitor is well calibrated, you can use levels to check and adjust the contrast of your render. Okay, the next trick is using the normal shading render element. We select C Geometry normal shading from the list. This is what it looks like. To add it to your arsenal of render elements, you only have to click Add and select it from the list. So this render element allows you to select various panels in your render based on their orientation to the camera. So, for example, we can select horizontal planes such as floor, counter, couch surface, and so on and so forth. Or we can only select the ceiling and bottom sides of the shelves. Or we can select all the planes along the x-axis or the z-axis. So let's see how to use this render element. First, we need to copy it from the frame buffer, and I'm gonna go ahead and paste it. And just in case, let's copy this render element by pressing Ctrl J, because we might need it later. Next, I'll go to Image, Adjustments, Black and White. And here we have sliders for each color. Suppose we need to select horizontal surfaces such as the floor, and we shift the blue slider to the right. The image has become whiter. The rest of the colors, we shift them to black. We see that almost all horizontal surfaces have turned white. And this means that we can use C Geometry normal shading as a base for creating adjustment layer masks. So let's select this layer and copy it to the buffer, and then we're gonna apply a correcting layer to our render. So we go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then Curves, click OK. And now with Alt pressed, we switch to Mask Editing mode, and we paste the mask. Now, when I'm gonna adjust the curves, we'll be only editing only horizontal surfaces. So for example, we need to make the floor more contrasting, let's say, or make it lighter. So now we can easily do that. For example, say you don't like when editing the floor, you're also editing the couch. So you can adjust this mask by using the brush. So we activate the brush tool, select the black color, and switch to the mask editing mode. Apply the brush to all the surfaces that we don't want to edit, and we brush everything except the floor. And this is how the surfaces are changing. We can also exclude the lamp, for example. So this is how you can edit each surface individually, whether it be walls, ceiling, furniture items, anything really. This tool can be come in handy in exterior visualization as well, when you need to accentuate certain geometry or facades or other objects. All right, next trick has to do with yet another uncommon use of the adjustment layer, black and white. But before we proceed, I'd like to invite you to our learning community. We have free exterior and interior visualization courses for newbies. For our subscribers, we have workshops, student work reviews, and chats. We also have a big exterior visualization course. It contains 64 lessons that are available on a fixed monthly subscription. So go ahead and join us. The link is in the description to this video. And all of these amazing works have been created by our students. All right, let's go back to Photoshop. Now, let's see how we can make our render more contrasting and interesting by using black and white. So we need to copy our render layer, and I already have it here. And next we go to image, then adjustment, black and white, and select the infrared preset and click OK. And so now we can apply this layer in the soft light mode. You can see the image has become more contrasting. It's brighter now. And if you think that's too much, feel free to reduce the opacity. And let's take it down to, let's say 50%. Now, in some areas, like this couch cushion, for example, it's so dark, you can add adjustment mask. And you simply click the mask icon and use the black brush to edit the areas that are too dark. And this is how we can add the finishing editing touches to our render and achieve a contrasting image without any special filters or whatnot. So that's great. Okay, trick number 4 is adding sharpness without using filters. Now let's see how it's done. So we take a copy of our layer, and by the way, you can merge all the layers into one simply by pressing Ctrl-Alt-Shift-E. And this will get you one single layer without deleting individual ones. And that's very convenient. So let's go to Filter, then Other, High Pass, and we can set the radius to somewhere between 1 and 2 pixels. Here we have 1.5, and that'll do. Okay, and so now we get this black and white image. And so we apply it in the overlay mode, and the render has become sharper. And so we've achieved this effect without any filters. And we can also adjust this layer. First, we can reduce its opacity to say 50%, so that the image is not too sharp. If, for example, we don't like how some areas turn out to be, we can click the mask icon and use the black brush to edit the areas that are too sharp. like this. And I like how it looks. And that's also fast, so that's all good. All right, and the last but not least, trick number 5 is adding glow effect without using any additional filters during post-editing. So we simply press Ctrl J to copy the renders layer and place it above all other layers. Next we press Ctrl L to apply levels. We shift the slider to the right. And now the only bright area in the render is the window. The rest has gone black. Okay, so we apply the layer in the screen mode, and now just make it blurry with the blur filter. Let's go to filter, blur, and big Gaussian blur. You can change the radius depending on what effect you want to obtain. This is how we achieve the glow effect. That's pretty much it. It's a fake effect, but it's a fast and easy way to improve your render when you're on a deadline, let's say. You can also paint your glow effect any color. You can choose a cold or warm shade. So I'll press Ctrl U, and here's hue saturation setting. We can check colorize box and select the color. And let's go for something between yellow and orange. We can also change saturation and lightness. And I think it's a great tool to add to your arsenal. All right, folks, that's all for today. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next videos. Goodbye.